The nation's highest court is set to hear 2 days of arguments in the showdown over same-sex marriage in the U.S. Tomorrow, the justices will hear a legal challenge to Prop 8, California's voter-approved gay marriage ban. On Wednesday, the High Court will consider the challenge against the Federal Defense of Marriage Act. KCAL 9 political reporter Dave Bryan is covering the hearings in Washington, D.C.
It's a nasty night in Washington. It feels more like December than late March. But for these folks who are camped out in front of the Supreme Court, it's all worth it to have a chance to watch the hearing on same-sex marriage. On a gloomy, cold, wet day outside the Supreme Court, a day that began with a blustery snowstorm, the lines of spectators, some of whom have camped out for 4 wintry days, continue to grow.
I got my umbrella, I got my hat that I got from Indiana over last week, but yeah, it's going to be tough tonight. Yeah.
Kenny Totrikern came to D.C. like many others here to witness the Supreme Court legal arguments on Proposition 8 and same-sex marriage. He and his partner, he says, have been waiting for years to get married.
My partner and I couldn't get married 4 years ago, or a couple years ago because of the Prop 8 was overturned, so hopefully this will allow us to get married.
Wally Supop grew up in Granada Hills and went to school in Sherman Oaks. Now she's an attorney in Hong Kong and came a long way to watch the Prop 8 hearing in person.
I think it's just such a historic moment as a gay American, gay Californian. I'm personally vested in the outcome of this case. I want to get married in the state that I grew up in.
I think you're better off not being out here.
And Ashley Miller joined the campaign to defeat Proposition 8 in 2008 when she lived in the Los Feliz district. She says she would love to see the Supreme Court deliver a landmark decision legalizing same-sex marriage across America, but doesn't expect that will happen.
I think that they will probably decide on a very narrow basis that will allow marriages to happen in California, but not anywhere else.
Supporters of Prop 8 will try to persuade the justices that overturning the will of the people who endorse the definition of marriage as a legal action only between a man and a woman would be a dangerous precedent.
We're arguing that the Supreme Court should not cut this debate short and should respect the votes of over 7 million Californians who voted to protect marriage. They deserve to have their votes respected.
The Bible says 1 man, 1 woman till death do us part, period. No exceptions. I believe God is going to answer our prayer and protect marriage in America.
Furthermore, they argue recent polls showing growing national support for legalizing gay marriage are also not a reason to enshrine same-sex marriage as a fundamental right. No matter what happens in the hearing, the justices will not be issuing a ruling on Proposition 8 or same-sex marriage anytime soon. In fact, that decision won't be announced until June. In Washington, Dave Bryan, KCAL 9 News.
And stay with KCAL 9 News for complete coverage of the same-sex marriage showdown at the Supreme Court. Dave's live reports begin tomorrow afternoon on KCAL 9 News at 4 and on our sister station, CBS 2 News at 5.